Okay. Developing budgets and making spending decisions sometimes seem to be kind of a seat of the pants affair. And at various times, Mayor Weir has talked about improving these processes by using more quantitative measures. You've been dealing with budgets. You and Councilman Withelder are the two main ones that sat through the 14 hours of budget hearings back in May. You've done 4 years of budgeting now. So you probably have a little bit better insight, perhaps, than some of the others. But what kind of approach do you want to have towards budgeting? We're looking at anywhere from $1 million to a $2 million deficit this fiscal year. Give us some of your thoughts about that.
Okay. First of all, I understand what Mayor Weir, I kind of mirrored that, didn't I?
Yeah,
anyway,
I think so.
What the mayor is talking about, except I think because of the fact he hasn't been involved in the budgeting process, I really don't think he understands how the budgeting process really even takes place, or whether there's a need for doing the things he's talking about. Because the way the budget is put together, and by the way, just as long as we're talking about budget, because I know during the budget sessions this year, I know you attended, I think probably every one of them.
I did.
We had one other individual in the community was there who constantly was hammering on the council about how bad off we were, and the city's going to hell in a handbasket and so on. And I think that from the dais maybe 6 or 7 times, I think I made the comment, but the budget is not where we're going to end up,
Right.
And the way that and it turned out to be very, very true, because there was this big issue that we would have about $2 million taken out, or a little more than $2 million taken out of our reserves to make up the shortfall. Well, as it turned out, we came in about $900,000 under on $950,000 under on almost both sides of the budget, the
Right.
expenses and expenditures. So the
Yeah.
$2 million that everybody was upset that we were taking out of the reserve never really happened. A very small amount of that happened, and that's true again this year. And the reason why that has worked that way is 3 things. Okay.
Okay.
The number one thing is back in 2007, the city council at that point in time felt that the economy was slipping and sliding away, and we had some concerns. At that point in time, Mesquite had a reserve to our budget, and that's your general budget. You have to have, by statute, you have to have a reserve.
Right.
Well, we already had our own local ordinance required more than the state statutes required.
Okay.
Quite a bit more, and we had a 10%. We decided that to make sure that we could weather what was coming up, what we felt might be coming up, we actually passed a new ordinance that changed that to a 15% reserve.
Okay.
Which still is in force today. So, number one, we have a larger reserve than any other city in the state in terms of the percentage we're required, and that's a requirement we put on ourselves. So
And
I think
that's
that
good news.
And I think that tells you a little bit about the people that have worked for the city and their attitudes about budgeting, their attitudes about making sure that the city stays solvent. It always has, still is, and it still will be into the future for that very same reason.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two is that we probably have, and hopefully we keep this gentleman, MP, which happens to be one of the best financial people in the state.
I think most people would agree with that.
And he is not only he's not only extremely honest and extremely diligent and hardworking and all of those attributes, but he is brilliant when it comes to finances. So as the budget is developed, or if there are adjustments that have to be made on the budget. And incidentally, people may not understand there are adjustments made every single council meeting on the budget.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the transfers, there's transfers from one fund to another fund, and those are intended to happen, and they're not. It's not like, you're moving money around. It's
Well, and all of that data.
It's part of the budgeting process.
All of that data is available to everyone through the agenda item.
Well, yeah, it's
agenda
not,
background material.
right. And it's available there, and it's available on the, it's available on the city internet side. And every penny we spend, and I know that you're totally aware of that, because I'm sure you've gone and looked at it. Every single penny that has been sent in the city ends up on the internet for people to take a look at.
Right.
It's all public information anyway, so you could it would be required to have to give you that information, but the city has been proactive. It's already there, and it's there on the site. So I think that those are two things that, and I don't think that Mayor Ware or Councilman Gustaveson or Councilman Haven or George Rapton or any of the other council people have any better knowledge of finances than MP does. And the way the budget is developed is done by departments. So each one of the department heads is given a number. And they're not given a number where their budget has to be, but we say that, looking at where we're going to end up for the year, we're projecting that we may have a shortfall or whatever, and so so they maybe get some direction like, well, this year you really need to, we might have to make some even personnel cuts, whatever would be necessary, to get a 10% reduction in our spending this year. So those things are, as the mayor is thinking, he wants things to be measurable. They are measurable. They're very measurable, and they're looked at by the department heads. They're looked at, and they're talked about in probably every week when they're having their department head meetings. Those issues are brought up. And if you look at the budget, even today, we're 1 quarter into it, almost every single line item is within the budget.
Yeah, and a lot of them are under budget.
And most of them are under budget.
Yeah.
So I think that when something is working very, very good, shame on anybody who thinks that they want to make a change, because they're liable to find out that the change, it won't be a positive one.
One of those, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's it, exactly. The other thing too is that as the budgeting process comes forward, there's also lots of opportunities for public input. There's lots of opportunities for input from the council and from the mayor. Right. I know the mayor has made an issue that he wants to be involved in developing the budget. If you look at the responsibilities by statute of what the mayor's responsibilities are, that doesn't fall within his responsibilities. I'm sure that he certainly would be welcome to be at those meetings, but I don't think he needs to try to take on responsibility that's not given to him by state statutes or by our own ordinances. So I think the best thing to do is to let the people who are experts at it, that have done a great job. Mesquite is known throughout the state is probably what word I want to use? It's conservative, yes, but the word's not conservative. But to do a very, very good job on their finances, and
fiscally responsible.
Fiscally responsible, and they're really on top of it. So I don't think we have any real concerns there, and I think that as the budgets are developed, I know what the pattern has been here in the last 4 years. Most of the key people are still in place. The process has always been to be ultra conservative on spending and ultra conservative on projections of income. So nobody's projecting numbers they don't think will happen in terms of income coming in, and they're projecting numbers higher typically on spending than they expect might be, so that they're insulating the city against if some unexpected spending does come in. They haven't cut the funding to the point that that you couldn't accommodate that. I mean, that you can find
Right.
yourself, but if you look at it, typically you go back and look at probably the last 6, 7, 8, 9 years, I don't know, as far back as you wanna go, you're gonna see the city almost always comes under on both expenditures and projections, so.
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
okay.
So I'm not concerned. I think that'll continue. I'm concerned about how much money we're bringing in, obviously.
Yeah,
But I'm not concerned about the city's ability to, to do the right thing.
okay.